A bank clerk looked disdainfully at a dark-skinned customer in a ragged jacket and denied him a loan without even checking his documents. But when a tall black man in a $5,000 suit walked into the branch 7 minutes later and a number with 6 zeros flashed on her computer screen, her perfect manicure began to tremble. What happened next changed the rules of the game at that bank forever. But let's start at the beginning. First National Bank greeted Terrence Jackson with the icy creak of automatic doors. The sterile white and gold-colored space seemed deliberately designed to emphasize its foreignness. A tall, dark-skinned man in horn-rimmed glasses whose chocolate skin contrasted sharply with the marble walls. His fingers, dark, with barely visible scars from student lab burns, nervously thumbed through a file folder, leaving subtle imprints on the glossy sheets. Behind the credit department counter, resembling a barrier in an upscale club, sat Emily Carson. Her flawless image, porcelain skin, skillfully hiding a mesh of capillaries, blonde hair, arranged in a tight bank bundle, French manicure with elongated oval nails, seemed a caricature of the Hollywood image of white respectability. "I'd like to apply for a business loan." Terrence's voice, which usually sounded confident at Silicon Valley conferences, here deliberately took on a slight uncertainty. "Strategy." Emily looked up with theatrical slowness. Her gaze, blue pupils surrounded by whites with a faint yellowing from constant work at the monitor, traveled a clear route, his dreadlock score, street style. The shirt with the collar open mark, not serious. Timex watch instead of Rolex verdict, not our client, Mr. Artificial pause before the last name, as if to verify authenticity. Jackson. With your credit history. Terrence felt his cheekbones tense under his skin. He knew this algorithm, the bank's version of stop and frisk. "I have collateral," he interrupted her, deliberately dropping them as he watched her pale eyelids twitch. Emily folded her hands, her manicured nails meeting in perfect symmetry. "For clients of your..." Her lips curved in search of a politically correct euphemism. "Profile, we have additional verification requirements." Behind her on the wall was a poster that read, "First National Bank, Equal Opportunity for All." The letters all were artfully stylized to look like multicolored human silhouettes. A hot wave rolled over Terrence's dark skin, leaving a sticky sweat on the collar of his shirt. A lump lodged in his throat, a familiar sensation, as if he were back to being that black kid from the south side of Chicago, the first time he'd walked into a Harvard classroom. His fingers, dark, with barely visible soldering iron scars from nights spent soldering his first circuits, squeezed the folder until it crunched. Same look, his mind raced. The same look from Professor Jenkins in his freshman year when he doubted that a student of your background could solve a cryptography problem on his own. The same look from the venture capitalists when he first showed up to a pitch session without a white partner. "You haven't even looked at my credentials." His voice sounded quieter than usual, but there was steel trembling in that silence. Emily did what they always did, stretched her pale lips in a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Her manicured fingers peach polish, exactly $27 a session, folded the paperwork theatrically. "Our bank has high standards." The emphasis on the last word sounded like code. Behind her back, the account manager, a white man in a cheap suit, was already signing a loan agreement with a girl in Ux and leggings. Terrence felt his iPhone vibrate in his pocket. A notification from the banking app, current balance, $4,350, 0.00. Terrence slowly pulled out his iPhone, his dark fingers, accustomed to typing 120 words a minute, now pressed each digit with deliberate theatricality. The call lasted exactly 22 seconds, exactly the amount of time it takes to ruin someone's career. Exactly 7 minutes later he timed it, the bank's glass doors swung open with a sound like someone ripping the lid off a bank safe. Kevin Bryant walked in like a tornado in a Tom Ford suit. His dark skin, a rich mahogany shade, expensive as aged whiskey, perfectly set off the immaculate white collar of his shirt. The gold pin on his tie, the miniature Masonic insignia of Harvard Business School graduates, glittered as if aimed directly at Emily. "Mr. Jackson." His baritone, usually reserved at board meetings, now filled the room, making several clerks flinch. "Your VIP account is ready for service." Emily made 3 mistakes in a row, inhaled sharply, coughing up her cinnamon latte, instinctively reached for the monitor. Pressed view account. The numbers flashed across the screen like fireworks. $4, 350, 0.00. Her pale fingers, her manicure now seemed cheap against Kevin's gold watch, trembled so much that the mouse slipped out of her hand. Her voice suddenly became so high-pitched that the office poodle in the next cubicle whined. Kevin gently placed his dark palm on Terence's shoulder, a gesture Emily immediately recognized as "This client is ours." Emily Carson froze, her pale lips quivering into meaningless shapes. The veins in her neck, usually carefully concealed by foundation, now showed blue worms. I didn't." Her voice trailed off into a falsetto, as if she were a teenage girl rather than a 34-year-old graduate of the Wharton School of Business. Kevin took a step forward. His dark hand in its $400 cuff rose smoothly, like a surgeon's scalpel before a crucial incision. "Right." Kevin's eyes, normally a warm brown, were now black and shiny as obsidian. "You didn't check. Didn't think." He paused deliberately, letting each word fall like a drop of nicotine into a fishbowl. "No respect." The next day, Terence sat in a leather manager's chair whose walls were adorned with pictures of presidents. The gold montegrappa pen in his dark fingers, the same fingers that once fixed old radios in the basement of a Chicago ghetto, was leaving a sprawling signature on the paper. Outside the window, in the parking lot, Emily was loading a cardboard box into a Toyota Corolla with a silver-framed photo, "Top Employee 2021. A cactus she'd been watering for 3 years. An unused package of letterhead. Her pale cheeks burned with a blush of embarrassment as the security guard, a dark-skinned guy in his 60s, demonstratively checked the contents of the box. Terence caught his reflection in the tinted glass, a dark-skinned man in Bryony whose signature had just changed the rules of the game. In that reflection, he also saw the 12-year-old boy to whom his teacher had said, "You're not gonna make it anyway." "Mr. Jackson?" The secretary shyly held out an envelope. "Your new platinum card." He took it with dark fingers that now held not only a credit card but a small piece of historical justice.